She thought tearing down my fence would prove her power. But when the ground thundered with hooves, Karen realized she had unleashed something she could never control. The ranch fence had stood for more than 100 years. My grandfather built it with his own hands, every post carved and placed with care. It wasn't just wood, it was history, a symbol of the land and the family who had tended it for generations. But to HOA Karen, it was an eyesore. One morning I woke to the sound of heavy machinery growling. When I stepped outside, I saw her, helmet tilted back, clipboard in hand, ordering a bulldozer across my property line. The old fence posts cracked and splintered like bones. Karen stood there smirking, arms crossed as if she'd won some great victory. "You'll thank me later," she shouted over the engine. "Now your land looks clean." Clean? She had just destroyed a century of history. Neighbors gathered at the edge of the road, shocked at her brazenness, but too afraid to intervene. My wife placed a hand on my shoulder, steadying me, and whispered, "It's time." Karen didn't know what I'd been keeping behind that fence. For years, I'd cared for and trained wild mustangs, descendants of free-roaming horses that roamed this valley long before any HOA existed. They respected the land, respected me, and now they would make sure Karen respected it too. I walked to the old corral and opened the gate. For a moment, there was silence. Then the earth began to tremble. The sound of 100 hooves rolled like thunder through the valley. Karen turned, eyes wide, as a wave of wild horses surged across the open land. They didn't harm anyone. They didn't have to. They tore through her manicured lawn, shredded her hedges, and left deep prints across her perfect flower beds. Dust and grass filled the air as Karen screamed, waving her clipboard helplessly at the unstoppable tide of nature reclaiming its ground. By the time the last horse vanished into the hills, her lawn looked like a battlefield. The neighbors erupted in applause, some even cheering. I stood tall, arms folded. "Karen, you wanted the land clean? Consider it done." Her face burned red, her clipboard snapped in two, and for the first time, Karen realized she wasn't in control. The land was, and always would be.